Don't Starve. The solo game. Yes, people still play this. I have a very strong love for the solo game of Don't Starve. Don't get me wrong, Together is a great game entirely on its own merits, but there's a charm to the simplicity of the original game. However, there's one reason why the solo game has never fallen out of favor for me, and that's the DLCs. Now, Reign of Giants is pretty much base game at this point. If you're playing without this DLC, how? But these two are so unique, so filled to the brim with content and new experiences that Together has yet to incorporate like 95% of it. These DLC provide you with completely unique worlds to explore, conquer, and abuse. But that's not even the best part. No, when you own these DLCs, you can do something that Together can't even dream of accomplishing. You can create a link between worlds, baby! Yes, that's right. Eventually, and if you know what to look for, you can link all 3 different worlds together on one save, and travel between them at your whim to harvest all the goodies these worlds provide. And goodies there are! Every world in Don't Starve has unique qualities that the others do not, so establishing a connection between each world is crucial to creating the mega base of your dreams. But this brings up an excellent question. If I have to explore and connect all 3 worlds together, well, where should I start? Well, let's find out. Easy and simple, Reign of Giants is pretty much what we know as base game Don't Starve. Regular, constant world generation that stretches out into branches of different biomes. It has all the regular set pieces and moving parts that you're used to. Things that are exclusive to the Reign of Giants world include caves and ruins, existing as a subworld that contains a lot of valuable resources and shelter from the summer heat. Note that most things inside the caves and ruins do exist in other DLC though. It's just the actual subset that is the caves and the ruins is exclusive to the ROG world. The Pig King and Basic Pig villages. Basic pigs are a lot easier to manipulate than their Shakespearean counterparts. And Pig King is a lot easier to find and barter with than this asshole is. Simplistic and easy tree guards. It's very easy to spawn and fight ROG's basic tree guards. This means it's easier to get living logs and the various items that rely on them. And overall, in my opinion, the best area for base building. ROG has a lot of calm area that's not split up chaotically and houses plenty of easy to obtain resources. This makes it a breeze to set up that mega base you've always dreamed of. There's more of course, but I think you can get the basic gist of it from that. Starting off in ROG will probably be the easiest experience with fewest benefits, but the few you do have are concerning. First off, starting in ROG, you will have to find the power sources and get the materials for your world hopping machines, which could take some time, especially since the location of these set pieces can be completely random. This means that by the time you set up your world portals, you may be dropped into problematic seasons you may or may not be prepared to deal with. Keep in mind there are some seasons that will be moving at different paces in the ROG world. Furthermore, starting in ROG means you're on an even stricter clock for the apocalypse. More on that in the Hamlet section. ROG also tends to be a lot slower in general. You definitely have to work up more to stronger gear than you do in the other DLCs. It's less gimmicks and more honest work. ROG favors strong all-arounder characters that excel in multiple aspects, because the DLC is generally just a well-rounded experience. Honestly, besides Wes and Woodlegs, every character can be played in ROG with little to no trouble, as it's just a well-rounded experience like it was meant to be. More chaotic and resource heavy, starting off in Shipwrecked may prove to be the most difficult out of all the experiences. The worlds tend to be big and extremely spread out. Oceans take up a lot of the map, and resources are very sparse as they have to be divided up between all these islands. Shipwrecked's exclusive content includes volcanic gear and other resources inside the volcano. This includes obsidian weapons and armor, and the oh so overpowered coffee bean plants. The cactus is there too, I guess. It is possible to obtain some of these plants in Hamlet, I believe, but you have to rely on capitalism. Eyeglasses and pirate gear. These are extremely powerful tools that let you explore maps at a rapid pace. A pre-built world portal. Every Shipwrecked world has a pre-built seaworthy that you can use to get to the ROG world. This means you could potentially start on Shipwrecked and create a link to ROG in a single day. Although do note, if you do go to ROG, you'll have to find and build the seaworthy yourself to go back. Getting an early start on sacrifices. Dry season is the most dangerous season in Shipwrecked. Pretty much the sole reason for this is that fucking volcano.
Flappin' Flotsam, what's that?
Starting in Shipwreck gives you more time to find the volcano, which trust me, as big as it may be, that thing is way harder to find than it looks. This is the general outline of your boons for starting in Shipwrecked. But of course, as I said, starting off in Shipwrecked is overall the hardest starting point, and there's a few reasons for that. Firstly, the supplies. Resources and food are a lot harder to get to when they're thrown around the damn map like this. Your life starting in Shipwrecked will consist of a lot of crafting boats, which will be a constant drain on your resources. Secondly, getting around in Shipwrecked takes a lot longer than normal. Having to fuck around with boats and navigate around things in the sea will eat up time, which, when you're starting out, is a very valuable resource. And finally, it has some unorthodox seasons. It's not that they're necessarily harder, just weirder, with problems that have really roundabout ways of being solved. This also includes a host of boss monsters that don't spawn like traditional giants do, which can catch an inexperienced player off guard. Shipwrecked is definitely favored by characters who rely less on raw stats and more on gimmicks. Anything that'll help on a boat is going to bode well for a character, such as something like movement speed. But there's also some character gimmicks that straight up won't work or do some weird things while on boats. Another thing is, since boats have their own health bars that aren't related to your character, some characters find themselves higher than usual on the tier list. Exploring and capitalizing. Hamlet is the last DLC option we have, and boy is it a strange one. Hamlet definitely has its priorities swapped because of the whole economy system and such, but I don't want to get too ahead of myself. Hamlet exclusive content goes as follows. Economy and capitalism. I've harped on this plenty of times, but it can't be understated how important it is. You can turn things like berries, petals, and even manual labor into food, materials, and other wonderful things. Keeping money in your pocket is essential, and Hamlet is the only place to do it until you gain the ability to build cities for yourself. Dungeon pilfering. None of the items in dungeons are exactly exclusive to the DLC, but it's probably the easiest way to get some of the craziest endgame loot. One gunpowder can get you things like the lucite gear and endgame gem staffs. It's kind of broken. Preventing the apocalypse. Okay, so this is going to take some explaining because this point pretty much single-handedly makes a decision of this video. Hamlet has an internal clock counting as soon as your world is created. It doesn't matter what DLC you're in or what you're doing. It's kind of like a season, but once it happens, it's pretty much over.
Oh my god!
The Apocalypse is an event that will take place on the 61st day of your journey, if you don't perform a very specific set of steps to prevent it. It's an event that, once it starts, it's not going to stop until you find this thing called the Apocalypse calendar. It lurks in a specific ruins that will only spawn in the fucking poison gas biome. Yeah, are you starting to see how serious this is? During the Apocalypse, multiple devastating effects are put into action that might as well be summed up as the game fucking cheating to kill you. It spams this huge, big, burly motherfucker called the Ancient Herald, a boss monster that can spawn millions of frogs, shadows, meteors, and ghosts. Constant waves of pig bats will be dropping down and will pretty much infinite aggro you unless you're extremely lucky. All pigs will cease their activities. Every dungeon room you enter is gonna spam a bunch of fucking ghosts. This shit is the worst designed thing in all of Don't Starve's existence. That being said, Hamlet isn't without its disbenefits as well. The bosses are treacherous. Without a second of hesitation, I can easily tell you, out of each world, these are the hardest bosses the game has to offer. They can just do more than the bosses from the other two DLCs can. The biomes are harsh. There's a lot of very dangerous creatures spread across a multitude of different biomes. The spider apes, the snapper plants, the thunderbirds, the mants. There's no shortage of enemies that'll kick your ass if you're not being vigilant and careful. Even weirder seasons. Yeah, Shipwrecked was similar, and yeah, Hamlet only has 2 unsafe seasons, but these 2 seasons are zany and weird enough on their own, with some wacky mechanics that can be head scratchers for new players and annoying for the experienced. Hamlet is favored by strong fighters and quick starters. Since there's a lot of rogue damage to be taken, those with ways of bouncing back easier and coping with the constant back and forth this DLC is, are going to flourish more than others. And that's it! At this point, it's really up to you to decide what DLC you should start in by weighing the benefits and disbenefits. But if you ask me, there is one clear winner. If you intend to make a world where all 3 DLCs are connected, and create a save that'll last for months and months of gameplay, Hamlet is the DLC to start in. Simply for the fact of having the most time to go deal with the apocalypse. Did you find this video helpful, funny, just generally fun to watch in general? Did I really just say that? Let me know in the comments below, and I hope your Don't Starve endeavors will be fruitful. I want to give a quick thank you to my members, Lynn, Cyber, Mr. America, Maxi, Super Cooper, 90% Fox, Astro PK, Spammy Rammy, Protein Sniffer, Troj, Adats, Nesser, Zor the Protogen, Flaccid Pringle, Jirao, Spiked S4M, Doc Dingus MD, and Eat My Birds. Thank you for supporting me and helping me do what I love. I really appreciate it. If you'd like to become a member, it's only $3 a month. You get to be featured here and other cool shit like that. And with all that being said, I hope you have a very great Don't Starve survival adventure.